Hey everybody, welcome back to another Dice Tower review. My name is Zee Garcia.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
Today we're taking a look at Vivarium here, which is a card drafting, explorers discovering unknown species kind of thing. We're going on this expedition, gathering creatures, finding these creatures, getting objectives, expeditions, what have you, all that jazz. It's basically about taking cards and collecting sets. I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like, how the game operates a little bit, and we will come back and tell you what we think of Vivarium. Here's what the game looks like set up and ready to begin for 3 players. Players are going to be playing over 7 rounds, and at the end of those 7 rounds, we are going to use the score sheet here to figure out who the winner is. We will score 4 different categories. The first one here is for the animals. So the players are going to be collecting some of these animal cards. We'll score up the victory points, and they'll write that down. Second column here is for the gems. The players are going to be collecting these gems, possibly spending them as well, and each one they have at the end of the game is worth 1 point. The third column here, where probably a lot of your points will come from, is from these cards down here, which are going to give you scoring conditions for having various combinations or having various kinds of cards. So, as a simple for instance, this card over here says you get 3 points for every one of these book-type cards, and there's one right there. And then the last column is going to be from these, and you can earn these by having the most of a something in the game. These are also going to be how you count the 7 rounds in the game. So to set up the first round here, to finalize that, everybody has been given 2 random dominoes. The leftover one is here, and this denotes the first round. During the first round, there is no bonus, so we use this double-sided one. We move that to be the active one, but you can peek ahead at the next one. During the next one, for example, the next round, it says that every time a player takes an animal card, one of these creatures, that is one of these 2 types, they're going to get a gem. And then at the end of the round, whoever has the most of those things will take this tile worth 2 victory points. And they all work like that with obviously different combinations of things. So we got the 3 card types, and you'll notice these numbers over here along the sides and the top. These are open information, so the players will just have those open. And then the start player has this token right here. Everybody also has a couple of bonus starting cards randomly dealt out to them, which are going to let you score for a type of animal and a color. So in this case, then, this card right here in that spot would be worth 2 victory points to me right now because it's this and this. So I score for both. So the players are going to each take an action, and then we'll do it again, another action, and that's the end of 1 round, and we do that 7 times. You are allowed to flip this over that has a little 1 right there to the other side that has a little 2 right there if you want to keep track of, well, the second time around. So what am I doing on my turn? Well, there's 2 parts. Part 1, you have to switch one of your 2 dominoes with the one in the center of the table. And 2, you take a card or you take 2 gems. All right? So starting over here, like I said, I do like that card in the first spot. It's going to be a little tricky to get that one because the way this works is once I switch a domino out, then I'm going to use these to select the location. I could do 1 number on one domino and 1 number on the other one lets me take something. So for example, 3, 3, I could take this card right here. Or I could do 3, 2, and that lets me take this card right here, or the 3, 2 lets me take this card, what have you. You can do that however you want to. You can also, though, spend a gem to change these numbers. 1 gem can be spent to change by 1, and you can spend multiples. So yes, I could turn this into a 1, 1 by spending a gem here, but I'm really just spending a gem to make a point. Might not be the best move. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and do 1, 3, and I'm going to take, actually I'll do 3, 2. 3, 2, and I'm going to take this card right here. This card says it gives me 3 gems right now. It doesn't really do anything else right now. It is a 10th type card. So I'm going to take that. I get 3 gems. It's the next player's go. And the next player on their turn then has to switch a domino. You always have to do that. And then they'll either take a card or get 2 gems. Everything out here is not replenished until we are fully done with this entire round, meaning twice a round. So this player is going to perhaps, they'll do, switch that with that. We'll do 4-3. No, they'll do 3-2, 3-2. And they're going to take this one. They take that. Then that player's going to go. That player's going to switch this with this one. And they will do 1-2. And they're going to take this one. 1-2. That's it. It comes back around to me. I flipped this over to remind me it's my second go. And we'll do it again. Obviously, all of these cards down here have special scoring opportunities and all of that, and that is all on the back of the rulebook. So this row right here is explained there, and these down here are over on this side. So for example, this one says it's 2 gems, it's that lamp, it shows you there, and it says when you obtain this, discard all the other cards in its column, gain 2 gems, those 2 gems there. So you know what? I'm going to do that. It's 1-3. 1-3. I think I might have skipped this person's turn. It's possible. Yeah, it looks like I did. Well, doesn't matter. 1-3. Somebody gets this. And then this and this would be discarded. Okay? Anyway, this continues with the players going around. At the end of the round, then, we're going to check this. Obviously, right now it's nothing, the first round. And then we replenish all of this, and we pass the start player token. And then for the next round, this is the rule in effect. And we get to see ahead to the next one. This one is for these crates, which are these cards. Every time we take one of these cards during that round, we get a gem, and whoever has the most, they're going to get that tile there. So that's what's going on. The scoring opportunities are really kind of what make the game. That's you're trying to figure out how to manipulate these. This, for example, this card right here is one of each color. If you do that once, you get 4 points. But if you do that twice in the game, again, 7 rounds, so you have 14 goes at most. You're going to get 14 points if you have 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 of these. You're going to get 14. So that's pretty big. You know, score is about 70 points, but that's so that's significant. And that's pretty much what you're doing. Try to get the most victory points. Try to combine the right creatures up here with the right equipment, with the right objectives. Getting some gems off of these, possibly banking these worth 2 victory points, and come out on top. There you go. Let's go ahead and go back up top. All right, there we go. So that is what the game looks like. The first thing I'll say, and I think you have the same observation, when I first saw the game, it reminded me of Quadropolis. It reminded me of Meadow. You know, that thing with the lines and the rows and columns. You do something to select an intersection, and you take that thing. You know, in both Quadropolis and Meadow, you stick a flag in it or whatever, and you point that way and take it. In this one, you have that domino thing. And I found the dominoes a little clunky because they don't behave like dominoes, I think is what bothers me about it. They are, well, not dominoes. You don't ever put them together. That's what dominoes do. That's the only thing they do. I guess you could stack them up and push them over. That's not really dominoes.
The other thing with dominoes, and I feel like maybe this is just a stupid complaint kind of, but I felt like it bothered me that you're never putting them together, but that you can't see one number's upside down.
Yeah.
You know, like, why? I'm looking at it. I never...
Again, they're meant to look like real dominoes.
And that you're supposed to, like, line up...
Like you do this. You know, you have a domino and another domino, and you do a boop, and you do that on the table, except you don't do that ever in this game.
So it just, it was just kind of... Mechanically, it didn't change the game at all, but for some reason, that just kind of irked me the whole time. It just made it feel, like you said, a little clunky. You know, a little like, but I'm not really using it for anything other than numbers.
To be fair, these are lovely pieces. I think they're plastic, they're neat, they're cool looking bits. They're just not, they look like dominoes. They're not dominoes, you know what I mean? And I think the fact that the numbers are upside down, I did it a little bit where I would take them and kind of like put the two together that I was using, like 4-1, bam, you know, I kind of did it, but you don't have to do that. That was a me thing.
Yeah.
So... Anyway, I found this to be a little bit clunky. I think the way it works is fine. It's it's a way to pick a place. It's fine. Right. But the fact that they are that piece is a little weird to me. Having said that, I do enjoy this kind of game. Drafting, open drafting games. You're collecting things. You're taking the creatures, or you're taking the equipment. Mm-hmm. And they're cool. They give you gems, they give you some ability, what have you. The contract, so you get to do your own scoring. You kind of get to build your own scoring. Right. We talked about that. Mm-hmm. I think we both enjoy that idea of a game in which things have an inherent value. That's fine. But what you select above and beyond that, decide your scoring. What are you going for? How are you scoring? I really enjoy that.
I did. I think, in one of the plays, I actually couldn't help but connect it to a lot of other games we play. You know, like I said, it reminded me of the Meadow, where you're going out and with the drafting part. And then it kind of reminded me of Floriferous, where you're building your own scoring. So all these other games that I like, individually, I really did like all those parts of it. Mm-hmm. And that you can really go in and focus heavy on that. I remember when you first explained, because you taught me the game, when you explained it to me, I was like, why wouldn't you just get all the creatures? I don't know, why don't you just go and snap up all the heavy creatures?
You were like, oh, they have points.
Wow, why wouldn't you just do that? And very quickly you see, because, the scoring, it's not just, we get an extra 3 points. It's like multipliers and things like that. It's big deals. Like, I get it now. And I really liked that right out of the gate, there's a scoring opportunity. Yes. But at the same time, you're also building your scoring opportunity and multiplying it. I think that was really an engaging gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, you're trying to find things that overlap, so you can double dip, triple dip.
Right.
I really like also that right out of the gate, they give you a hidden color and a hidden animal type.
Yeah.
So that immediately you have some things that score for you more than for other people. Yeah. I really like that.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of games in this day and age are so used to doing this whole draw 3 cards, keep 1. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Right. Okay, that rule makes sense the 4th time I've played the game. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Don't make me pick something random, I'm being, again, hyperbolic, but it's a little bit of a real feeling. In this one, shuffle up the 4 creature types and shuffle up the 4 colors, get 1 of each. That's it.
Yeah, and it's nice that it's one of each.
Here we go. I know that. Ooh, that guy has both my color and my creature. I'm all over it. That's direction. It gives you that direction.
Right, absolutely. And right out of the gate, it's because it's the 2 of them, they don't ever get in each other's way either. Right. So it gives you a focused focus, if you will, even. Yeah. And so then you really are, okay, I'm going to go heavy into the orange. And, this one is orange and my animal, or this one expands the animal a little bit. You really, from the beginning of the game, you're honed in pretty tight, and you might wiggle out a little bit from that. But to be successful, you're really just comboing on top of that.
Right, and then once you've got a couple of those, you can look at the bottom row, that row with the scoring, basically. And you can then very quickly, again, be like, ooh, blue plus brown or orange or whatever, those are worth extra points to me. Every time I make a pair of those, I'll jump on that.
Yeah.
I found the evolution of what you're going for very natural.
Yes.
Now, on the flip side of that, and this is a segue mostly for you, I know that you found the little tiles.
The priority tokens.
Tokens. I know that you found those not as elegant.
I didn't. I found that they detracted from that natural flow of the game, and also kind of the natural excitement building. Like you said, right out of the gate, you have a goal. You're getting excited. You're seeing this going. And those kind of took away from that a little bit. It's like, I really want this card. All right, well, no, because then I'm going to lose that, and that's 2 points, and the other person got the last one, so I need to make sure I get this one. It just didn't fit really in the game as well, and I feel like it took away from the overall focus and flow of the game. It just seems like one more thing they threw on, like, oh wait, people like multiple ways to score these days. Here you go. And so it felt tagged on rather than actually a part of the game. I did like it because it was an easy way to track the end of the game.
Sure.
You got 7 of them. It's your countdown. When it's done, it's done. I like that. It's also clean scoring. It's 2 points per tile at the end of the game. That's it. It's not another multiplier. It's none of that. So it really is just 2 points. So if you're, doing your turns right, you can maybe ignore it and still be competitive. But yeah, I just felt like it detracted from the fun part of the game, which was kind of getting in there and seeing that card coming out, or puzzling out how to get the one you want, or the nail biting. Are you going to take that one it's a 2-point card, but it's going to be 6 points for me because I know I'm also holding these things.
Sure.
So I did feel like it pulled me out of the gameplay, of the fun parts of the gameplay.
I didn't have as much of a reaction to it, but I can definitely understand your point of view, and I agree that it feels like the last latched-on thing.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's probably okay to play without it.
And then just track rounds.
Yeah, you can use the backs of them.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
The backs of them you could chuck one every time a round goes by. Because really, at the end of the day, scores are like in the 60s and 70s, right? I mean, play 2-player. So I'm thinking that, it's not that big. Like, it's like 6 points for you or 4 for me. Like, it's a few points. It's 2 points. Now, to be fair, I'm ignoring the fact that you're getting gems from them.
Those gems are big, yes,
those are points. But my point being, it's not that many. It's not influencing it that much. It's a small part of it. So that's how I felt about that.
Right. And I think you bring up an important point here that we haven't talked about yet is those gems. And I want to say I discounted the value of those early in the game. And I really, again, kind of like with the why wouldn't you just take all the animals and have kind of that aha moment, because it's just multipliers, it's not added points and that kind of stuff. And, as you're stacking your scoring, I think the gems are the same way in really being able to, they're 1-to-1 points at the end. I'm so used to games where it's like 3-to-1. It's like, okay, well, cool, gems, woohoo. No, they're 1-to-1. Does build up over a time, as well as being able to manipulate the dominoes. Knowing that it doesn't really matter what you put in there because I have enough gems, I can make it work, or, I need a 2, so numbers are only 1 through 4, I'm probably going to be able to get a 2.
Sure.
Something like that. And so I really like that those are there and that I feel like they're well weighted.
I was going to say that. I'm often not a fan of a game that says, here is a special orb. Use it for a fantastic power. If you don't, it's worth 10 points. I'm like, don't give me a cool thing, then punish me for doing the cool thing. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Don't tell me I have an amazing ability, but if I never used it, like if you never do the fun thing, though, we'll reward you. In this game, I feel like the gems being worth 1 avoided that for me. Okay, it's not a mindless thing. I'm not always like, gems, I don't care, gems. Right. But I definitely did it plenty. Yeah. And I did not feel like, this is a bad idea to give a point, Yeah. I thought it weighted. It was well weighted, like you said. I agree with that. Yeah. Now, talking about one last thing here, I think, is let's talk a little bit about scalability. Okay. I think we have slightly different opinions here on this. I think the game, like you were saying, scales well. You said just before we started recording. But it kind of feels different at each number, and I think that's true because the board is never replenished until you're done with the round. That means possibly 8 goes. That's 8 cards that could be gone, right? The other option you have is to take 2 gems. So you could always do that. That's 2 points. You can just take that. It gives you flexibility, and if you never use them again, 2 points. At 2 players, we did very little gem taking, where you just on your turn don't take a card, take the 2 gems instead. At higher player counts, you will find yourself doing that. Right. I think you would need to. I like that the board dries up, though. I really do like that tension because it forces you to think, I need to spend gems to make a number that takes something I want. And you have that turn angst of, I got to wait for 2-3 other people to go before I can take that thing. That really combos for me. So you're sitting, and maybe somebody takes it, so you pivot. Maybe you just take the 2 gems. I like the way the game scales, but I think it's going to feel different, and I think everybody's going to have their own favorite player count. I guess, right? That's exactly what I was trying to explain earlier. Where I feel like it feels different between 2 and 3, and it feels different between 3 and 4, and between 2 and 4. I would play the game very differently. Yes. My personal play style would change depending on how quickly that's going to dry up and stuff. Sure. And that being said, I think this is going to be hard to nail down. This game is best at this player count. I think agree. It's more going to be this game is good for me at this player count. So I feel like people can bring their own experience into this and find what level of their comfort they like on it, instead of the game being like, it says 2 to 4, but really played at 2 or really played at 3. Yeah. I really feel like it's just a very different feel to the game, which means you just have to find your own personal comfort in it. Yeah, I like it at the different player counts. But it feels different because the board dries up at 4. There's fewer things out there. There is a 2-player variant, by the way, that nukes one of the columns at the end of the round. But and just to cycle cards
Right.
in, which is nice. I like it. It's a very, very hands-off kind of variant, very smooth, but it's still not, that much. Like, the board doesn't dry up.
It doesn't dry up.
It just cycles it at the end of the round. So there we go. That is Vivarium. Some thoughts? Anything else before we get into final scoring?
No. I think
All
you're
right,
good.
let's do it. What do you got?
I'm going to come in at a 7.5 for this game. I really enjoyed the gameplay, and it's one that, like I said, I can see myself enjoying it at different player counts. I would just play it differently. I thought the iconography was really, really good in this game because it is so icon heavy. I don't believe any of the cards have words on them. I don't believe.
so,
If they do, it's very few. I don't think I ever had one.
Everything is here on the back of the rule book. I think I might have shown this in the overview. I forget. Just all the symbols.
Right.
Boom. I mean, like, that's everything you need. I love it.
And once you learn it, it's you do need that your first play, but after that I feel like it becomes pretty intuitive pretty quickly. Yeah. And that's really important in a game like this where you're just looking for those, you're thinking quickly, trying to combo things together and put those icons together. It's really important to have that. And so I really like that. I do just think that those bottom cards, which I know you could take out, but they are part of the game, so I am going to factor that into it.
The
little tiles on the bottom. They just got a little clunky to me, But what I really liked about the game is it's one that I can see some of my favorite games in this, and it's just like little portions of some of my favorite games all in one package. That's really, really pretty. And that's important to me. So sometimes a couple little parts of the game got in its own way, and I do have a preferred player count on it. But that being said, a 7.5 because I would definitely recommend it and be happy to play it pretty often.
I have very similar thoughts and coming down at an 8 for this one. Actually, the biggest hit for me is probably the thing you're talking about, which is you see a lot of games you like in it, and I'm like, yeah, it's not very original,
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. It feels like another one of these point-dead stuff and draft. Again, the drafting, the scoring is fairly by the numbers. It's stuff we've seen a lot. Is that bad? No. You couple a game with tried and true mechanisms with neat, weird artwork and a bizarre theme and some straightforward play, and I'm happy. This is a game I'll play any time. So an 8, is indicative of that. I think this is a solid game. Does not outstay its welcome. 7 rounds is good.
It's good. You're right.
It's quick. Turns are fairly easy to play. None of those weird artificial choices you have to make at the beginning. They give you those 2 cards. That's enough. Build your own thing as you go. Like, grow into the game. 7 rounds is good for that.
That's
I really like that, yeah.
Because by the end you're done with it, but it's also didn't overstay its welcome. That 7 rounds really is a sweet spot in this game.
It's good. So there you go. 8 for me, 7.5. That is a seal of approval, folks, for Vivarium. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking this one out. That's going to do it. My name is Zee Garcia.
I'm Camilla Claghorn.
Go hunt some weird dragon creatures.
Go get them. Get them all.